Hey folks, Ward 6 Councilmember Charles Allen here. Now it's been about a month since the council has returned from our summer recess, and I wanted to pull back the curtain a little bit, give you a little update on some of the work that we've been doing, specifically some of my Judiciary Committee work. We've been focused on a trio of bills that address racial inequities in our civil legal system. Now, they're dealing with the law, they're a little bit wonky, but they're important, and I want to make sure I can talk to you about how they're going to make a difference in the lives of district residents and break them down for you just a little bit. The first is called the Stormia Denson-Jackson Economic Damages Equity Act. It was first introduced by my colleague, Councilmember Treon White. Now, this bill ends the long-standing practice of reducing money damages paid as part of personal injury and wrongful death suits based on the person's race, gender, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity or expression. So when courts are calculating damages, there's no reason why the amount should be less for someone who's black or brown or a woman or transgender. The system we have today literally tells some people in court that their lives are worth less, and it just further ingrains social injustice and inequality. So this bill is going to help address that, and it's going to help right that wrong. Now, the second bill I want to tell you about is the Partition of Real Property Act. Now, this one addresses the racial wealth gap in home ownership by protecting families when property is inherited without a will. It puts in place a new legal process when one or more co-owners wants to sell their stake in an inherited property. For decades, primarily low-income black families across the country and right here in D.C. have fallen victim to heirs selling their properties and shared property to third parties, who then force a sale against the will of other heirs in the family, often at below market values. It's one of the most insidious ways that black Americans have lost generational wealth and land. These forced sales rob the other heirs of both true market value for the property and potentially a place to live. This bill protects property owners, including heirs, who want to maintain their stake in inherited property. About 3 in 4 African Americans don't have a will, which complicates property ownership and leaves families vulnerable to speculators. And that's why these legal protections in this bill are so important in preserving black generational wealth and home ownership right here in the District of Columbia as it is across the country. The final bill in this package is the Expanding Fee Waivers for Low-Income Litigants Amendment Act. Now, this one, it expands and reforms the process for low-income residents to file cases in civil court by expanding eligibility to waive filing fees. Listen, there are a lot of fees and costs that litigants have to pay as a part of exercising their rights in civil court. For residents with limited means, these fees are prohibitive, and the process is currently too lengthy and too cumbersome. The process to get these fees waived is also burdensome, forcing people to fill out lengthy applications detailing their complex financial information, which then has to be reviewed by busy Superior Court judges. So what this bill does instead is it just makes more participants in public benefit programs automatically eligible for waivers. And in doing so, it'll dramatically expand access to the courts. Because if you don't have the money to enforce your rights in court, then you don't actually have those rights. We should be opening the courthouse doors, not nickel and diming people who deserve equal access to our legal system. Now, this may seem like a small change in a court process, but it has huge implications for access to our justice system. All 3 of these bills have passed the first of 2 votes in front of the full council and will be coming up for second votes in the coming weeks. I'm expecting them all to pass and become law in the district. And I want to thank my colleagues on the council and the tireless advocates for helping make these a reality. They are going to make a real difference in the lives of residents. And I'm excited that these bills are going to soon become law in the District of Columbia. Thanks, everybody.